Alright, welcome back, Ride Warriors, to Planet Coaster and continuing construction of Evergreen Groves and the beginning of construction on our first roller coaster, which is going to be called White Thunder. It's got very much sort of like a Cannonball Lake Winnie type of look at the moment. So last time I sort of decided that I was gonna sort of step away from doing like the scenery and detail of sort of the entrance area and entrance midway and everything, because we've been doing that for quite so many episodes. I mean, I'm sure you guys are thinking sort of to yourselves as you're watching the videos, okay, get to the rides, get to the coasters. So we've sort of started to lay out sort of the general feel of the park. I mean, I'm not actually going to put those bumper cars there, but I'm putting them as sort of a placeholder, because I want to have one sort of ride before we get to the roller coaster. So let's continue construction of the roller coaster, which is called White Thunder. And if there's a typo here, I can't see it because the recording box is still there. So I will have to check that. I did not check. I'm recording this right after the last episode. I was excited, so I just wanted to get right into the next one. So I didn't check my colors yet to see if they're consistent. The teals and yellows with the ones that I used in the logo. But we'll be fine with that. So let's start building. And I've tried to pause the game so that there's not a super large amount of lag and everything. But in order for me to run the test, I'm going to have to unpause the game. But I do have the park closed, so I know that there's not going to be any guests or anything that come in. So that's good anyway. So I think I will sort of do that, and I'll leave the lighting to 2 p.m. so that we can see our ride testing and see if we're having problems. I mean, this is one of the great things about one of the changes over the Roller Coaster Tycoon. Oh, we gotta turn the chain off. There we go. One of the great things about the Roller Coaster Tycoon games that they made, and one that sort of has carried over into this game, is the fact that you can have sort of a live test. So let's build that. And what's really funny, the coaster cars just sort of like plummet off the end of the track here, and then they make all sorts of noise. And they explode at some point. Yeah, so let's go. It's an awfully steep drop. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of having the super straight sections on sort of the drops, but I mean, a 60-degree drop is, it's pretty steep for a roller coaster, especially at this time. So I feel like I want to have not too much of a straight section in there. And I'm gonna try and avoid using, a ton of the smoothing tools. I mean, they work okay for what you need them to do in this game, but generally they tend to do more harm than good unless you kind of know what you're going for. So I tend to try and stay away from them. There's some things where it's just impossible to when you just smooth out banking and things. I'm trying to figure out if it's best to sort of make this as long as possible and flatten it out, or if I want to... Yeah, see, they do that. Or if I want to sort of shorten it up and make it, something like that. And sort of have a bigger lead out. I think that's good. What are we at? We're at 7. I think we'll shorten that up just a bit so that we're not getting so close. And there's 15. I mean, we're gonna get very, very close to the ground here. But that's okay because we should be. We should get very close to the ground. We're 5 feet off the ground. Yeah, I think that looks fine. What do we got as far as G's go? Yeah, we got 2.5 at the bottom there. Yeah, we could honestly, we could probably tighten this up a little bit. I think we can actually lengthen the drop a little bit. Well, nope. Yeah, we'll lengthen it to the 45, and then maybe we can sort of pull this out a little bit, flatten it all the way. I think that's probably good. Where are we at? Yeah, we're at 6 feet there. I think that's probably pretty good. Let's see what we're looking at in terms of G-forces here at the bottom of the drop, because it gives you live data here. So our excitement's going up down the drop. That's good. Our G-forces our G-force is like 3.8, which is pretty good at the bottom there. So I think I'm going to leave that. Let's do this here and make it pretty steep. And we'll just put a little bit of a straight section in here. And we'll bring it out to a flat. And we'll do that, and let's see. So we're at like 3.7 G's through there at the bottom of the drop. That's pretty good. Do I want sort of a big hill, or do I want sort of a smaller hill? Yeah, the 45 is nice, but I like the 60 better for the first hill. And we'll just sort of make it, you know, pretty short of a flat bit there. Straighten this out and sort of bring it maybe in that area. What do we got in terms of airtime? Oh, we've got some air there. Again, the shaping is a weird thing here. So you've almost got to, in order to really make these things look realistic, you've sort of got to change the shaping a little bit. So maybe the solution here is to do 30 and sort of bring it up like that. I mean, we could have a... Maybe you do want a short section. We'll just make it like that. And then your next section comes up to, say, 30. Sort of does that. Let's see where that gets us. Nope. I want to shorten the length. Sort of, let's do that. And then I want this to sort of come down to the minus 30. So that it's symmetric, and then we'll sort of do it out that way, and that's sort of more like a realistic type of airtime hill that you would actually have, because the train gets slower as it goes over the top. So I want, yeah, minus, yeah. Gee, I want it to be I think I could shorten up that top piece just a little bit more yet. acting kind of weird. Don't know why it's doing that. Oh, I want to redo that. Let's see. So our vertical G's, yeah. So it's sort of it comes back closer down to like 0, but only at the top. So that's good. So we'll bring it back to 60 in sort of this area, and yeah, that's a much more realistic looking shape of a hill. And we can have just our little bit of straight track here, and then we'll sort of pull out of it here, like we did at the bottom of the other one. See how that looks. So our vertical G's minus, yeah, and then it's sort of, you get some more coming down on the other side. So you go from minus, you go into some negative G's as you're coming up to the top of the hill. It's sort of just like the weightlessness over the top, and then as you start to go back down the other side, it does it. And you have the ability to sort of, it's building all of that. You have the ability to select these pieces, and then you can sort of change them on the fly. Okay, so we're actually coming up to the terrain piece already. So I think what we want to do, again, we'll watch the train sort of come over the top here. And the real thing you want to look for is excitement. You want the excitement to be high. Anything greater than 6 is really good with excitement. The airtime is really good for excitement. Yeah, look at that. Having that excitement, you want to have that excitement meter sort of pinned up into the green. They're sort of red, yellow, and green ranges. And if you're familiar with Planet Coaster, you already know this. In Roller Coaster Tycoon, you're very familiar with the 3 ratings, which were excitement, intensity, and nausea. In Planet Coaster, we've got excitement, fear, and nausea. And basically, what you want is, you can see how the scales are here. So less nausea is good, more nausea is bad. Excitement, more excitement is good, less excitement is bad. And they're sort of color-coded. So a ride that has an excitement of 6 or greater is green, I think, from 6 to like 3 or something is yellow, and then it's red if it's lower than that. For fear, you want it to be in the middle. So some fear is good. I think you want the fear between, I think 5 is the magic number, and you want it to be between 4 and 6. There's a commercial on my TV right now. It's a Domino's commercial where it looks like it's at some sort of... There's theme park rides in the background, but it looks like it's a carnival. I was trying to see if it was an actual park. So some fear is good. Lots of fear is not so good. So really what you want to do is you want to keep the fear in the middle, you want to keep the nausea down, and you want to keep the excitement high. The way to keep the excitement high is to have good speed and force. So when my car was going over the airtime hill as it decreased speed, it was still seeing airtime and everything, so the excitement was still very high. So that's good. So let's continue along here. And I think this is going to be a good opportunity to do sort of like a more lower profile, but maybe more drawn out hill. So I've got 30 here, but I think what I want to do is sort of do a longer, more drawn out airtime hill. And it's going to be sort of like a double up, because I'm not going to come all the way back down to the ground, because I've got sort of this terrain bit that's out here. So I'm going to do the 15 degrees, and I'm going to sort of do one of these. And let's see what the airtime is sort of going to look like as it comes over here. I mean, it's going to have really good speed. Yeah, it's going to have good speed there, so there's going to be really good airtime. Certainly in the negative G's at least, which will keep the excitement up high. So I sort of got this leveling out. So I've got 15 here, so I think I want to pull this out this way a little bit. And then I think what I want to do is have it... do I want to have it go up a higher hill at that point? It's go back to this, and let's go back to the 30 degrees. And I can't make it any longer than that. See, that's not going to do quite what I want. So that's pretty good there. I mean, we'll shorten this a little bit so that you get good airtime going up over that hill. And I think maybe we'll just flatten it out here. And then we'll bring it up. This'll sort of be like a double up of sorts. But we can't come up too high either. Yeah, I think we want this piece to sort of come up a little bit, and we'll draw it out a bit more. That's interesting. I can sort of do that kind of thing. See, the excitement was very high when it flew off the track right there. So I think I want to come up to 45 here so that I can get some good airtime out over this hill. And I don't really want it to be taller than the other hill. That's probably good. Then we can do this. I can shorten it up a bit. See how that looks. Good airtime coming up over there. Yeah, I think that sort of uppity bit there is a little bit too drawn out for how much speed it's going to have right there. So I think we've got to compress this a little bit more. I think that's fine. We'll get some good positive G's there. So we'll bring it to 15 degrees in a quicker sort of way here. Alright, so the negative G's, we got good negative G's coming up over there. We're gonna have, so, oh, well, that should work right there. And I think what we'll do is we'll sort of have our sort of turnaround, and we'll come off of here. Come off of here, and we'll go down into our drop. Down into our drop here. I feel like I can make the peak of that hill even a little bit tighter. I feel like this has to be shortened a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks a little better. And then what we can do coming out of that, have a little bit of a straight section, and then we'll level it off, and we'll just stretch it out. I mean, that's fine right there. I think that's good right now. So let's see what our airtime is coming up. So we've got minus, minus. Oh yeah, we've got good numbers there as well. That looks great. Okay, so we've got good airtime numbers in sort of the half and negative G sort of area. So now what we want, I think we want a turnaround that's probably about as tall as this. This is 46 feet, but I think that's above ground level. Is that height mark? Yeah, so it's terrain relative. So sea level, that's actually 58, which compared to this is much, much smaller. So I think we want to get something that's generally, and we still got an extra 20 feet here. So it's going to be a little bit like a voyage thing, where we're going up in the terrain here, farther out at the end of the the layout here. So we'll sort of do this. And I think what we'll actually do is maybe we can put a slight bend in this, because what I want to do is I want to sort of have, well, maybe we won't do it with that piece. We'll do it on the next piece as we start to straighten out. Because what I want to do is I want to sort of do our little turnaround here. I want to do sort of a bit of a turnaround, but I want the turnaround to have some lateral g-forces, so I'm going to bring it up here. And notice I'm not really doing any banking of any sorts here. I don't really want to bank it because I want there to be some lateral forces here. So if I do this, there's probably not going to be a ton of airtime right here, but it'll maybe be sort of interesting. We'll get some lateral g-force. Yeah, we get some laterals there, and then it'll sort of go up into the turn. And then hopefully what we can do, and that's at 64. Is that level? It is level. I think we want to bring it down just a little bit. Maybe I do want to have it sort of come down this way. So you can sort of see what I'm kind of going for right here. So I want it to, I mean, there's some airtime there, but it's mostly laterals. And I want to sort of have it come down into, it's going to be sort of like a double helix style of things. I need to do some banking for sure. You know, because I'm going to sort of have a low to the ground piece here, and I need to bring it over this way as well. So I need to definitely put some banking in it at some point here. Is this still at 30 degrees? Yes, it is. So I think we'll make this shorter and we'll bank it back to 15, because I still want my maybe we'll do the 15 degrees of bank here, so that we can sort of lead into it a little bit. And then it's still at 15 degrees of bank here, so that when they sort of drop into it, you're still getting some lateral G's, because it's not, you're still getting some lateral G's here. You've sort of lengthened this bit. And then, what that gives us the ability to do, maybe we'll shorten it up a little bit more. Now what this gives us the ability to do is sort of bank at 30 degrees here. We can shorten this up just a little bit and sort of lead you into our turn of sorts here. And we're we're fairly close to the ground now. But I think that's okay because I'm thinking maybe I will build a tunnel of sorts here. Oh, and we've got auto tunneling on. So we have the ability to do an auto tunnel where it'll sort of dig down into the ground for us. I don't know if I want to do that just yet. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's still going to be good lateral forces there, right here. There's still going to be good lateral forces. We're banking it a certain way. Yeah, so the auto tunnel sort of does this type of thing, which doesn't look bad. And you know, maybe we'll leave it for now. Maybe we'll leave it for now. Because we're gonna start straightening out our piece here anyway. And I want this to sort of come right up against that part there. So you can see we sort of get in there, we come up over the top, we got good excitement, and then it flies off the end of the track right into the structure. Oh, that's fantastic. It's great, you know, very unreal. Again, this game is like super realistic. And the whole trains flying off of the track thing is incredibly unrealistic. Which is this game is incredibly realistic, and then it's unrealistic in that one particular spot, but it's just hilariously unrealistic, so much to the point where I'm actually quite fond of it. So there we go. Okay, so I want to shorten this piece up here. What's interesting is I don't like the lack of height that I've gotten out of that. I don't like the lack of height at all. See, I'm still getting good ratings there. But I'm not overly enthused with only the little bit of height that I have there. So do I need to come back into a 45? I mean, we don't drop out of it at a 45. That's sort of the way to go there. So that's 15. I mean, that's better there. If I can sort of shorten that to there, and I'll turn off auto tunnels at this point now too. I don't need them anymore. So now I've got sort of the flat bit, and I'm gonna turn that so that it sort of goes with the ride, and maybe I have one section that's 0. And maybe that's sort of what I want there, is to sort of just have this nice little... Because now I sort of have no choice but to sort of come out of this in sort of some sort of banked fashion. And it can be 30 degrees again, or at least 15, and we can sort of do this, because we don't want it to necessarily overlap there. I do want it to turn. Let's see see what our numbers are like. So our excitement's good, our laterals are good. I mean, our speed kind of slows down a little bit, but we're still getting laterals. I'm okay with that. I think that actually looks pretty good. We get some good laterals and sort of this this turnaround here, which is pretty neat. And I don't want to overdo the banking because I still want my laterals here. I mean, I think even that's too much. I think the 15 degrees is fine. And I do want it to sort of come back towards the rest of the ride and sort of line it back up. I think that's sort of what I'd like to have it do. I think maybe, do I want this to turn this way more and sort of lengthen it? What does that do? There we go. Sort of just tinkering with my options here. I mean, that's it. The train's going slow enough so I could have that 60-degree turn, and then sort of have it come out to 15, and then bend it this way, and then, well, I could straighten it out. Maybe I won't just yet, because it's still turning a fair bit. I'll shorten this up. Maybe I do want it to kind of come over that way a little bit more, because then I can do that. I mean, I've got clearance now. Let's see what that sort of looks like. Yeah, I mean the laterals are good. The verticals are still pretty good. The laterals are still real good through here. The excitement's dropping a little bit, but that's probably because we don't have tons of airtime, which we'll be able to fix pretty quickly. Let's sort of figure out what we need to do to get us back on track here. So I've got the 30 degrees there, and I'm sort of flattening us out. Well, that's at 15, so we can do that, and then I can do that as we straighten out. I'm gonna have to do that. And there's probably not going to be any airtime there. I mean, it's moving along in a pretty good clip through that sort of turnaround helix deal, though. That's good. Yeah, there's really no airtime there. I mean, we could probably make it so there is a little bit of some, but maybe I'll actually lengthen this out just a little bit. I mean, since there's not going to be airtime there, we might as well have it be the right sort of length for what we're trying to do here. So there we go. And what I do want is, see, now I'm sort of wondering, we have an opportunity here. We can start to decrease the height here just a little bit, and we can also start to kink it over this way a little bit, because what we're gonna do, yeah, we're gonna do it this way. So there may not be airtime going over this hill, but what we're gonna be able to do is have laterals combined with airtime, because we're coming over to this terrained bit again. And we are going to be able to make use of our sort of double down. So right there, that's the 30 degrees we want. I want to this to 15, I think. I wanna line it up as best I can with the ride. I'll only do that and then shorten it. I'll only do that and then shorten it like that. Then I can straighten it out and bring it up to plus 15 while I'm straightening it out, and that sort of lines it up almost perfectly with the rest of the ride. And if I shorten it one piece, let's make sure that that's not actually clipping into the rest of the ride, and it's not. It's sort of right next to it, but not overlapping with it, which is just exactly what I wanted it to do. Because, see, now I can do this and sort of stretch it out just a little bit. Let's see what we got here. So it doesn't have tons of speed going into there, which is okay. But then what has to be done to get airtime out of this is to make the drop steeper, which I could do this. See the 45 is way too abrupt. It's not gonna get what I want out of it. So if I do the 30 to there, probably have a nice little jump there. The airtime in the front probably isn't overly fantastic right there. But in the back, I think it'll actually be pretty good. So let's sort of see what we've got here. So we've got good numbers there, good numbers there. Let's see. I'm really kind of watching the excitement here. So the excitement's up at the top, and now it sort of goes back down. We've still got good excitement through the helix here. We're in the 7s. Now we're up to the top here, and now it's probably going to be in the 3s and 4s as we go through this part here. I mean, right there it's in the 3s, and then right here. Oh yeah, we get some good airtime there. Oh yeah. Okay, so we do get some airtime there. So that's good. It's not quite sort of the double down that I envisioned entirely, but the turnaround actually is really, really nice. I really like sort of this whole sort of double turn thing. I like it a lot. I'm almost kind of wishing that wasn't banked. Now, see, it looks weirder when it's not banked. Yeah, never mind me there. So we're good there. So now what we want to do is we want to have sort of some speed hills, some good airtime hills. I don't know if we want to have a big hill on the way back, because we don't really have a lot of room for a big hill. Well, we have room for a big hill, but we don't really have the speed for an overly large hill. I think maybe what we'll do is we'll sort of do this, and we'll try and turn this sort of into like a triple down of sorts. Because I've got this, and then I can shorten it. So I can do sort of this sort of thing. let's see what that does just in terms of the airtime numbers going over this little bit of a hill. I just sort of, I want to sort of gauge where I'm at in terms of the speed and airtime that I have. So we've got airtime there. Oh yeah, there's definitely airtime there. It's in the -5s still. So we can certainly sort of drag this out sort of the way I wanted to before, because now the other important thing that we got to get out of here is length. We've got to get length to come back here. And I still think we can do sort of the brake run along here, because we're gonna do the entrance and exit on one side, so we can keep the brake runs sort of very close. So I don't even know if we'll do a helix at the end. Sometimes you do a helix at the end of rides like this, but we've got quite a lovely helix out at this end for all your lateral force needs. So I think maybe we'll just come back up and do a nice series of small hills back to the brake run. And it'll help us with the length, because the length is sort of gonna be just a little bit of a challenge getting back to where we need to go. So let's build this and see what we get in terms of airtime numbers coming over this speed hill here. So we've got good, minus there, minus there. We've got -2. -2 is good. I'm okay with -2. I'm not overly pleased. I mean, it could be better, but I'm not unhappy with -2. Let's get there. And maybe this is a good place for... One thing I do want to do is a trick track. That's something that's not on so many... I mean, we've got all these weird bankings and things that are on these rides nowadays. So I think maybe actually what I'll do is maybe I'll do a quick, like, 15-degree up, just for a little pop of air, and I'll sort of flatten it out real quick, and then I'll do my trick track sort of along here, and I'll sort of bank it towards the hill, so that we've got good air there, and we'll have just a little bit there. Does it make sense to have the trick track on sort of a down bit? I mean, that would be kind of interesting, but I don't think it does. Yeah, so I like that, because it sort of banks into the rest of the structure, so that it looks like so you've got sort of this lattice structure, and then it's going to bank you off to the side where there's these cutouts, but it's going to bank you off to the side where the supports sort of are cut out, but then you're gonna be banked back. I think that's kind of fun. It may not do a lot for the ride ratings. It might actually hurt the ride ratings a little bit, but in general, the trick tracks are real fun. There's not many rides that have trick tracks anymore. I think Shivering Timbers has one. Although I think they might have replaced theirs. I know Boulder Dash had one when it opened, and then they replaced it with the triple up and everything, so it may not have one anymore. So we've got -2, and then right here we've got, almost weightless, and then, we've got a nice bit of lateral G's that kind of go in there. And then this will give us an opportunity to get really close to the ground again. And I think I'll actually do a very small flat bit here, just so we can get all the way down to the ground. that one. This one here. Yeah, I'll do a small flat bit here so we can get very close to the ground. And that'll sort of set us up for the last bit. And maybe in the back row, this will be fun here. Sort of watching this ride. We're at 45 minutes already. We are probably not going to finish. Let's look at what the lateral forces of the trick track look like. So we've got good air, lateral forces. Oh yeah, it's got half a lateral G. That's actually pretty good. I like that. So we're gonna do that because the half a lateral G is actually really good for a trick track. So we're gonna do that. Keep this short and sweet here. We've got that, and that's obviously way too abrupt, but we'll sort of stretch it out. And maybe, oh, we've got, do we do like a Phoenix type thing here, where maybe we've got a double up, double down type deal? I don't. I mean, it's got to be very short and sweet. This is like very Judge Roy Scream type right here too, because Judge Roy Scream does something like this on its Six Flags Over Texas does something like this on its return run. I think Bill Cobb, was one of the designers on Judge Roy Scream, and I think he called them hoop-de-doos or whoop-de-doos. So that's interesting. It's like a little bit of it's like a double bump. I like the whole idea of the double bump. So we've got the double down, we've got a speed hill, we've got a trick track, we've got sort of this double bump thing that I'll call it. It's like lightning striking twice, or white thunder striking twice. And I think we will have enough room to do one more sort of airtime hill, and then up onto our brake run. Or you know what? This is a little odd. So maybe we'll just do. We'll do like a standard speed hill here to sort of break up the trick track and everything. And then maybe we'll sort of do like the whoop-de-doo, the hoop-de-doo, whatever you want to call it. Double up type thing, the double bump thing. Do sort of like a double up of sorts into our brake run, and that'll be fine. So we got here. Let's turn off the height markers here for a minute and just sort of watch it. Yeah, so there's our nice trick track coming down. Airtime. Ooh. I mean, it kind of looks abrupt, but it's really not. Could probably do a little bit better job of just making that smooth. I think that looks just a little bit more drawn out than before, which I think is fine. Let's go down to the 15 here. We'll draw it out, and we'll do our sort of whoop-de-doo, or whatever you want to call it, here, because it'll go up into our brake run then. Let's see this here. Yeah, I think that's good. We still got about minus 0.25 Gs or so, which is good. I mean, you want something in the negatives, so that's good. So there we go. Sort of shorten this up. Do I want this to come up to 30? And sort of, I mean, that's gonna get way, yeah, that's too tall. So we want this to come up to 15. Maybe we just want a bit of a flat bit here. Do we want a bit of a flat bit and then sort of make it an angled bit into the brakes? I mean, you could do that. Thunderhawk at Dorney does that, where it's sort of a flat bit into the brakes. I didn't see what the numbers were there. Kind of wanted to see what they were. I'm sure that should be about there. Come up to 15. We'll shorten it just a little bit. And then we'll flat bit it. We're almost at an hour for this episode, which I'm sure some of you aren't minding because I'm actually building a roller coaster here. Sort of do the flat bit there, and then we'll level it out. And we'll angle it there at the top. And I'm thinking sort of Thunderhawk because Thunderhawk actually has some brakes on a downslope, and then it sort of hits it. So we'll actually do a little bit of the downslope piece, and we'll try and put some sort of awning or something on it. I don't know. We'll figure out what looks good. Oh. So what I think I want to do now is turn my angle snapping to there. See, it didn't look like there was that much airtime on that last hill. Let's watch it go through one more time through that last hill there, and then we'll see what our numbers are. Again, we can game speed up. You can see how fast this game actually moves when you're playing it, because we were in April at the start of this video, I think, and we've gotten into September, so we've basically gone through a whole park here, just building this ride, which is perfectly fine because the park's closed. But we've got notifications up here now for, end of month summaries and things. I think it realizes that the park's closed now. Okay, so here comes our ride. Excitement is good. Excitement still good. Excitement's still really good at this point. Trick track, excitement not so much. Excitement good on the airtime there. Vertical G's almost. I mean, it's just into the vertical negatives over that last hill there. So I think that's okay. We'll sort of deal with that. And then, coming up into here, and it's not gonna have any lateral force at that point. But it'll be fine. So let's see if we can straighten it out. And this is probably going to be a job for doing it from this end. Which I think is fine. So we'll go back here, and we'll do this, and we'll make it. We'll make feeder wheels, and we'll make them 6. You can turn off the catwalks on the wood coasters, by the way. So we'll just put feeder wheels there, because what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to do this sort of thing and turn our track. And this is why I put the bumper cars sort of there, so I can sort of gauge everything here. Our coaster sort of needs to make it back to the station, right? So we've got that. I think maybe just one bit bigger. Yeah, so that's good. So now this is going to be our block brake here, which can't be curved. It's got to be flat. So that's our block brake. So we want our deceleration rate, yeah, release speed, release acceleration, optional catwalk, yes. Brake target speed, I think we want it to be 10. We'll make this just as long as we possibly can, and then we'll see where we can go as far as lining that up. So the question now is, if I have this here, and I just make this a downslope, if I make it a downslope to about there, and I mean, I want it to be a trim brake, target speed. Yeah, I mean, I want it to act as a trim brake. And then I've sort of got a straight piece to bring to it. Height-wise, I don't know where that leaves me. I think I just want to build like a straight piece here, so I can figure out what's going on first. If I can sort of angle it that way, and then shorten it up so that it sort of aligns. I mean, because the problem right here is that I need to flatten this out, just from a straightness standpoint. It's got to be like that. See, and there's the brake, which is good, but now I don't know how my height is. I mean, it's pretty close. Let me go back to my height marks, terrain relative. So I'm at 8 feet, and what is this at? It's probably similar. So I've got that there. And I think what I can do is... Nope, not you. And I understand that this has quickly become the longest video of the series so far, as we're very, very close to an hour. But I'm sure you guys don't mind, because I'm building a roller coaster for once. So we've got the block brake there. And then, see, there's this auto connect thing which comes up, which is very useful. But for me, I don't like to have these weird kinks in my rides at the end of them. So I really like to have those things sort of figured out. So I think maybe we'll do that. So we've got trim brake, we've got friction brake. Does that work? Yeah, so that works good as like a trim brake, and then we'll make this a friction brake, and we'll do the same whole. I think we can reduce the decels on these a little bit. And we'll do utilities, and we will just do that. And now we've got a connected complete coaster, and as you can see, the height is like slightly off from where I went, but because it's a curved piece, it's not a big deal. So I think this looks pretty good. So now let's I have no idea if let's ride it! And I have no idea if this is going to get really laggy because of the textures and everything. Because I still have the texture detail on high, so it's quite possible in the middle of this ride it's just going to start lagging to absolute ass because of the high textures. And like I said, I don't have a super high quality gaming supercomputer. This track is likely going to be quite bumpy and jerky, perhaps, with some pumps and things and everything in the track. But it'll give you a general idea of what we've created over the last hour, so let's see how we go. Nice drop there, pretty smooth. Oh, good airtime there, I think. Double up, yeah, so see, not too bumpy. Some good air there, and now, here, let's see how this looks. Oh, this is actually looking pretty good so far. Not too little jerky like that, but a little bit of jerk there. Up here, yeah, that looks good. I don't see any obvious spots where I feel like I need to speed this track up. Good air there, so double down, airtime, yeah, trick track! Oh, that's really good right there, yeah, that's not exactly what I want. Good airtime right there, and double up brakes. Oh, that's fantastic. And our brakes bring us into the block brakes. Excellent. And then the block brakes will hopefully push us along, and we'll be able to coast far enough to get to the other feeder wheels. Oh no! See, that's the thing with this game, is unless you build things on the slight downslope, like real rides are actually built, especially old wood coasters, they have the friction brakes that just release and then gravity propels them. But in this game, it's very difficult to do that with angle snapping on. So what you have to do is you have to set the feeder wheels to sort of push you along at the right speed. So since our brake target speed is 10 miles an hour, we'll set it to 8 miles an hour, and then hopefully that'll do the trick. But overall, I was very happy with the way that ride went. And I think it looks very, very good here. And even along here, I mean, looking way down, you're going to be able to see it. And you know, part of me does wish that it would have been it might have been feasible to sort of mirror this and put the return run on the midway side, but then the brake run becomes a bit of a challenge. You have to cut through the structure and everything, and I'm kind of happy with the way I built it for now. So let's have one more look. Let's do the coaster cam, and let's do interest. Yeah, let's do the orbit view and just sort of watch it and fly around as it goes. Again, this video's over an hour, but hopefully you don't mind because I've actually built a coaster. Good lateral feet. And through that whole track, I didn't see anywhere where it was super jerky or where the banking wasn't really neat. I didn't really feel any need, like I had to smooth out any piece of this ride. Look at that, good airtime there. Trick track. Yeah! Clap it for airtime. For airtime. Very, very cool. I'm happy with that. Hopefully these feeder wheels will just push us along at just sort of the right speed to get us over there. I'm hoping. Get over there, get over there. Yes. Alright, perfect. Alright. Successful test run. Okay, so I'm going to leave you in suspense as for the test ratings for excitement, fear, and nausea, because I'm going to leave myself in suspense as well. I think the test generally went pretty well. I don't know if we've got enough to make it a 6+ excitement and get it into the green, but it's certainly a very good ride. I'm happy with the way the layout has come. I think it's a nice variety of airtime. You got some laterals at the end, and then you finish it off with some airtime. I think it's a nice flow. And having the trick track in there is kind of interesting. So I would call the construction of White Thunder a success here in this episode. And I will leave you in suspense as for the testing results. And I don't think I'm even going to peek afterwards. I think I'm going to save and I'm going to go to bed because it's getting quite late this evening. But I think the look of this ride, if we go down to player height, I think the look of this ride from the midway is going to be quite nice. You can look down and way down the midway and see it off in the distance there. And we're going to put our chaser lights or whatever, the fairy lights. Maybe we'll put the twinkling ones. Maybe we'll put the standard ones on there. I haven't decided yet, but we're going to do something really, really nice with the lighting on the ride. Maybe we'll do some extra support structures as well. We will see, and also the station. The station is going to be a lot of fun because I've got some great ideas for the station. But I will leave you for now. It's been a very long episode, but hopefully you've enjoyed seeing the construction of White Thunder from start to finish. And in the next episode, we will start making it look very pretty. We'll do some of the technical things, the ride rules and everything like that. And maybe we'll start constructing our station and see what we can do here. So thank you for joining me on this very, very long episode of Planet Coaster gameplay. Here on the COASTER-net YouTube channel, I've been Danny Miller here at Evergreen Groves, constructing White Thunder. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.